Hey Annie, this is the lecture for chapter 3 in your book, and uh, and basic information about the group should be discussed in the initial session. So this is basic. Group 3 is more about ethics, but it also says rules. I mean things that you expect from a group leader. And one of the things you need to do in the first initial couple meetings is discuss where you are, the objectives, and who's everybody is, and meet everybody, and give some basic information. Now, I'm going to tell you the responsibilities of group leader, and you could write these down. You don't even need to read the book. Well, I want you to read the book, but I mean, you know most of these anyway. You need to attend regularly. Boy, if you're leading a group, you have to be there. Be prompt. You want to be there before anybody else. You have to take risks, which means you're going to have to self-disclose. You might have to push somebody. So in the early years, with not when you start learning, get more and more experience, you get really good at this. But and then it's kind of scary in the beginning. Um, you need be willing to talk, because if nobody else is talking, you got to initiate and get them talking. You need to talk. You need to give feedback, positive, which is easy to do; negative, which is not easy to do. You must maintain confidentiality. I mean, I keep hitting on this, and I know you get, oh yeah, 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 but you know you're not gonna break confidentiality, but you got to make you're not sure of your client, so you got to keep hitting them and saying what says it stays here is what's said in here stays here, and then you need to ask questions, and hopefully they're open questions, not closed questions. So I mean, those things. If I asked you to write down some responsibilities, you would have got all these. Um, Confidentiality. Uh, you need to negotiate rather than dictate. So the leader says, "Okay, we're going to have confidentiality. Let's make some rules. Make the rule that you want. Have them, the group, make it up because they're more apt to follow it. And you can't guarantee confidentiality, uh, but hopefully it will. Now, there's a couple exceptions to your confidentiality. If the client is going to harm themselves or others, then you need to tell the local authorities. If they're going to break the law, you have to tell the local authorities. You're required by law to report if they're a threat to harm or somebody else. That's it. Because they do that and you knew about it, you could get in trouble. Also, this is another obvious: any case of child abuse or neglect, incest, or child molestation, of course you need to. If your client talks about this, say, I do things like this, you need to report it to social services. But other than that, everything is confidential. Um, Now, we talked about risks. What are some of the psychological risks in a group? There's life disturbance, because you're working with a person's self-efficacy and their self-concept. If this gets ruined or gets damaged, then they can't function in the daily lives. And so a group can disrupt a person's life situation. Sometimes people are great in the group, and outside the group they can't function. But the fact is that you have to watch it. You don't, affect somebody's life in a negative way. Uh, Hostile confrontation between the client and you, or between two members of the group. You want some confrontation, but it's got to be a positive criticism, constructive criticism, I think is the term. Scapegoating. We can't blame somebody in the group for something. You know, in political year, we got candidates blaming each other. That doesn't do any good. Also, hidden agendas. I'm going to do a really stupid example, but say you like somebody in the group, you got hidden agenda to hook up with them. Well, any hidden agenda, political, social, anyway, is not accepted. And uh, no socialization with the group. Obviously, that's a no-no. Um, Now, one thing I have to say, and this is definitely a test question, is the group should know where your values are. You should never push them on the group, but the group should know where your values are. What I mean by that is they should know where you feel like, I'm a Democrat, okay, but I can't be beating that into your head. So the fact is, the group should know where you're coming from. Uh, Leaders should have a clear rationale for every technique they're going to use, why they're going to use it. Is it suitable for the group? Is it used correctly? Is it the right time? So, just even an icebreaker, you have to know why you're using it and when it's most effective. Um, Areas of knowledge. Uh, you expect the group leader to have at least some coursework, at least he read some text, skills competency built through experience. So you can demand that from your group leader, and that's chapter 3, because chapter 3 is more about ethics and stuff, and most of that stuff is fairly uh, understandable. But when you look at the book and you look at the homework, it'll make a lot more sense to you. All right, Annie, take care.